The 357 Magnum was born in 1935 out of a specific problem. Law enforcement needed a round that could punch through early body armor and car doors. Elmer Keith, Philip Sharp, and Douglas Wesson solved it. Smith & Wesson built the first revolver around it and had a 4-year backlog of orders despite introducing it during the Great Depression. 90 years later, it remains the most versatile revolver cartridge ever made. Mild enough to practice with .38 Special, powerful enough to hunt deer, accurate enough to shoot steel silhouettes at 200 yards, in the right hands with the right gun. Today we rank the 7 best 357 Magnum revolvers ever made, not a popularity contest. Built on history, documented performance, and long-term owner experience. Every gun earns its spot. Every gun gets its honest limitation. The number one pick is not what most lists put there. Stay to the end. Number 7, Dan Wesson, Model 15 and 715. This is the gun that gets left off every competitor list. And every time it does, the people who actually know revolvers say the same thing. Daniel Wesson II, grandson of the original Smith & Wesson co-founder, left the family business in 1968 with one goal: to build the most accurate production revolver in American history. The mechanism he developed was the interchangeable barrel system. The barrel threads into the frame from the front of the cylinder. A separate shroud goes over it. A spanner nut at the muzzle tightens the entire assembly, putting the barrel under tension at both ends. That tension eliminates barrel flex. Combined with a tight cylinder gap the owner could set themselves, the result was factory accuracy no other manufacturer could match at that price. The Dan Wesson 15-2 became the dominant revolver in metallic silhouette competition through the 1970s and the 1980s. Shooters were knocking down steel rams at 200 meters with hand-cast 200-grain bullets out of a 357 Magnum revolver. Nothing else was doing that. The pistol pack came with barrel lengths from 2.5 to 10 inches in one kit. One frame, every situation. CZ acquired the company and discontinued revolver production in 2021. Used market examples show up regularly from $350 to $700 depending on configuration. The honest limitation is that the double action trigger is heavier than a Smith & Wesson of the same era. That is the trade for the accuracy advantage. One phrase captures it: the most accurate production 357 ever built and the most overlooked. Number 6, Ruger GP100. There is a reason this appears on every serious list. It is not marketing, it is metallurgy. The GP100 was engineered from scratch to handle full power .357 Magnum loads indefinitely. A solid heavy frame, a triple locking cylinder, a full underlug barrel, and investment cast internal components with tolerances engineered to absorb wear without affecting function. It is 6 or 7 shot depending on configuration, with 3 to 6 inch barrel lengths. This is what the K-frame should have been if Smith & Wesson had prioritized durability over elegance. The honest trade is that it is heavier and bulkier than the 686. Most experienced shooters prefer the 686 trigger. What the GP100 returns is a gun that absorbs more punishment without consequence than anything else in its price class. Current street price is $700 to $900 new. One phrase: the tank of production double action revolvers. Number 5, Smith & Wesson Model 686. The L-frame was Smith & Wesson's answer to a real problem. The K-frame had a ceiling. Heavy Magnum use accelerated wear at the forcing cone. The L-frame, introduced in 1980, fixed that with a beefed-up forcing cone, a heavier underlug, and a stronger cylinder crane. The 686 became the modern standard. It is what police qualification instructors recommend, what competition shooters run, and what long-term owners reach for when they want a gun that handles whatever they put through it. It is offered in 6 or 7 shot models, with adjustable sights and stainless construction. Barrel lengths range from 2.5 to 6 inches. The L-frame weight reduces muzzle rise and recoil enough that the 686 is genuinely pleasant with full power Magnum loads. The single action trigger is smooth and predictable. Current street price is $850 to $1,100 new. One phrase, the modern benchmark. Everything else gets measured against this gun. Number 4, Smith & Wesson Model 19. Bill Jordan convinced Smith & Wesson to build this in the mid-1950s. He was a border patrol agent and competitive shooter who wanted a duty revolver light enough to carry all day and accurate enough to shoot against anybody. For 2 decades, the Model 19 was the benchmark. 6-shot, adjustable sights, blued finish, 2.5-inch to 6-inch barrels. The balance of a Model 19 in hand is something you understand immediately. Sized right, the K-frame trigger in single action is famously crisp. In double action, it is smooth enough for fast, accurate strings. The K-frame limitation applies here. A sustained heavy diet of full-power Magnum loads accelerates, forcing cone wear over time. A shooter running a reasonable mix of 38 Special and Magnums will never see this problem. Used market values range from $900 to $1,400. Pinned barrel cylinder examples command the top of that range. One phrase, the revolver that defined what a .357 should feel like, nothing has replaced that feeling. Number 3, Colt Python. It was first introduced in 1955, and it was hand-fitted at the factory at a level no other American production revolver received. The action was stoned and tuned before it left Connecticut. The double-action trigger pull was the smoothest of any production revolver of its era. The single action broke like glass. The vented rib, full underlug barrel silhouette is still the most recognizable revolver profile ever made. It is a 6-shot revolver with 2.5-inch to 8-inch barrels. Accuracy on vintage examples with factory-fitted lockwork is still competitive with the best modern production guns. The honest limitation on vintage examples is that it requires a skilled revolver gunsmith. Parts availability for production made before 1999 is a real issue. Do not let an inexperienced smith touch it. The modern Python, reintroduced in 2020, updated the internal geometry and improved strength. It is mechanically more durable in some respects, though the hand fitting of the original is not fully replicable at modern production volumes. Vintage examples sell for $2,500 to $6,000 and prices are climbing. The modern Python costs $1,400 to $1,700 new. 70 years of calling it the greatest revolver ever made, and the argument is not over. Number 2, Smith & Wesson Model 27. This is where it started. It needs to be said plainly. The Model 27 is the original .357 Magnum revolver. Everything else on this list exists because of what happened in 1935. When Smith & Wesson introduced the registered Magnum, it was a custom order revolver with barrel lengths in 1/4-inch increments from 3.5 to 8 3/4 inches. Custom grips, triggers, hammers, sights, and finishes. Each gun shipped with a certificate of authenticity. Despite being introduced during the Great Depression at a premium price, Smith & Wesson had a 4-year backlog. General George Patton carried one with ivory grips and called it his killing gun. FBI agents carried them for 30 years. Skeeter Skelton, one of the most respected revolver writers in American history, called the Model 27 with a 5-inch barrel the best all-around handgun ever made. The end frame is the largest Smith & Wesson produces. Heavy, smooth, deliberate. The checkering applied to the full top strap, down the barrel rib, and to the front sight ramp is a detail no other production revolver received. Current production Model 27 Classic costs $1,100 to $1,300. Vintage examples range from $800 for shooters to several $1,000s for collector condition pinned barrel examples. One phrase, the gun that invented the category, and still one of the finest ways to shoot it. Number 1, Manurhin MR73. Most lists put the Python here. This list does not. Here is why. The Colt Python is a magnificent revolver. It is also a revolver designed to be beautiful first and durable second. The Manurhin MR73 was designed to survive a war. In 1972, the French Gendarmerie needed a revolver for their counterterrorism unit, the GIGN. They needed something that could absorb 150 rounds of full-power 357 Magnum ammunition every single day in training. They contracted Manurhin. During initial testing, a single example absorbed 170,000 full-power 357 rounds without a dimensional change and without a failure. That is not a manufacturing claim. That is a documented test result. Every component is forged from ordnance-certified steel. The barrel is cold hammer forged, forming the rifling during the forging process itself. The cylinder chambers are finished by an impact process that produces resistance to fouling. No machine chamber can match. The factory proof fires every cylinder chamber at 30% above maximum allowable pressure, then certifies it against double that figure. The trigger is hand-fitted. Every MR73 requires over 12 hours of hand assembly by trained gunsmiths. The gun leaves the factory only after firing a group of 20 millimeters or less at 25 meters from a machine rest. Any gun that does not hold that standard is not released. The adjustable trigger system lets the shooter independently set double action weight, single action weight, and over travel. No other revolver on this list offers that. GIGN operators use MR73s in live counterterrorism operations for decades. In 1994, during the Air France hijacking in Marseille, the lead GIGN operator neutralized 2 terrorists with his MR73 before a rifle was brought to bear. Beretta USA began importing the MR73 in 2021. As of early 2026, inventory is available through Beretta gallery dealers and select retailers. Current pricing is $3,200 to $4,200 depending on configuration. The honest limitation is this is not a carry gun, not a budget decision, and not a gun for someone running 10,000 rounds a year at low cost. It is a precision instrument for serious collectors, competition shooters, and anyone who wants the most mechanically excellent production revolver ever made. One phrase: the gun the French built when they decided American revolvers were not good enough, and proved they were right. Number 7, Dan Wesson 15 and 715, the most accurate production .357 ever built. Number 6, Ruger GP100, the tank of production double action revolvers. Number 5, Smith & Wesson 686, the modern benchmark. Number 4, Smith & Wesson Model 19, the gun that defined how a .357 should feel. Number 3, Colt Python, the most beautiful argument in revolver history. Number 2, Smith & Wesson Model 27, the gun that invented the category. Number 1, Manurhin MR73, the gun the French built when they decided American revolvers were not good enough. One question for the comments: if you have owned and shot one of these revolvers for more than 5 years, what did sustained use teach you that nobody told you when you bought it? That is the answer no review gives you.